Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday morning trading session. Welcome to those of you joining our open house room here this morning. My name is Eric Senft. I'm going to be your host here for the next little while. And I'll give you a quick little overview of what we're looking at here before we try to take a look at a couple of trades. This is the diversified trading system, and it's diversified because we're looking at the market from three different points of view. So rather than have one tool try to fit all the market conditions, we have three different tools. Here in the top left, we have the Hawk Micro Scalper. Top right is the Falcon Swing Trader. Bottom left is the Eagle Trend Trader. And then the bottom right is the latest addition to the DTS family. This tool here is called the Raptor. The Raptor is actually a hybrid. It incorporates elements of the Hawk, the Falcon, and the Eagle all into one trading tool. The charts I'm looking at here are the NASDAQ. I'm also following gold and crude oil, but please don't be shy. I'd be happy to pull up any market which is of interest to you, whether that be a Forex pair or the E-mini S&P or whatever. All the signals develop the same way regardless of the trading tool. First, what we get is we get a warning dot along with an audio alert. Once the signal parameters are met, we get a triangle and a hash mark. That tells us it's decision time. Now, you're going to look at this. At first, it's going to seem maybe a little bit confusing because it looks like there's a lot of signals printing. We don't necessarily take all these signals. Rather, what we do is we hold out for the high probability signals. And there's only about, well, between 3 and 5 signals for each tool that we focus on. And I can show you more about those. Well, here, actually, I'll pull them up for you right now, just so you see what they look like. So, for instance, with the Hawk, these would be our high probability signals, right? So we're looking for the first micro-macro cross, essentially the first signal that is in sync after the trend lines cross, the macro pullback, which is everything stays in sync except the micro line. It goes out of sync. A 4-arrow consolidation, which tends to be like a pullback pattern. Then there's the post-consolidation signal, and then finally the red bar buy, or in a downtrend you have a green bar sell. Right, so those are your high probability signals, and then we also have high probability signals for the other tools. Here's the cheat sheet for the Falcon, and we have our trend change signal. Again, essentially the first signal that comes into sync after our trend line changes color. We have a late filter entry signal, which is a very high probability signal. It occurs when the filter goes out of sync, comes back into sync, but the trend line never changes. And then we have our trend line touch signal. I'll explain more about this as we go on, so don't worry if you don't catch it right off. Speaking of the Falcon Swing Trader, here's the Falcon Swing Trader on the NASDAQ, and let's just take a look what's been going on in the overnight. Looks like there's been a little bit of a rally from where the market left off. Actually, a little bit of a rally, too, through the Asian session. Yesterday, the North American session, of course, was fairly bullish. Well, a big opening gap, and then it kind of went sideways. And from there, it looks like the Asian and European sessions both continued to push the market a little bit higher. And here we are now out of the open. We got that trend change signal that I just spoke about right here. So the trend line went out of sync, comes back into sync. Actually, we got two of them, didn't we? Pardon me, the trend line never goes out of sync. Filter goes out of sync, comes back into sync, we generate a signal. Those are both high probability signals, and you can see they would have had no problem finding our high probability profit target on either of those signals. So a good opportunity here on the Falcon to start. I'll just quickly introduce the Eagle and the Raptor, and then we'll try to get down to actually showing you how these tools work. This is the Eagle Trend Trader, and as the name suggests, it's designed to pick up trending signals. And the Eagle relies on this band in here to give us our directional bias. No, this is not an Ichimoku cloud. Yes, I know it looks like one, but it's not. With the Eagle, we're looking for signals, most signals to be in sync. I'm going to show you here in a moment one that is out of sync. But for instance, here is a green bar, green filter, bullish band with a green signal. That would be a buy signal for us. This signal that you see here is actually a high probability signal. Whenever the market encounters the hard edge of the band, that's this part here, we expect some sort of reaction. So we've got red bars encountering the bullish band. The market comes out of here with a buy signal. So we call this a red bar buy. So the red bars are looking bearish, but then the buyers come back, kind of a last-ditch effort to rally the market. And that's normally a very high probability signal for us. That one occurred early in the Asian session, and if you were inclined to follow it, you could see that would be quite the move here this morning. Let me see how the stops would have worked. Oh, the ATR was a little bit tight. These blue dots that you see on here, this is our trade manager. This is a very important tool. The trade manager allows you to choose from 16 different stop strategies. That's what these blue dots on the chart are. And you can customize them as well. So if I change my stop strategy here a little bit, you can see from that red bar buy signal down here, if you were trailing a stop, you would have got stopped right there a couple hours before the open as the market dipped in below the trailing stop. The beauty of the trade manager is not only that it has all these stop strategies for you to choose from, but the fact that it limits your risk exposure. You can see right here, I've limited my risk exposure to 2% of my trading capital. So regardless of where I place my stop, let's say I placed my stop really, really tight, notice the risk, $340, or if I placed my stop a little bit looser, kind of got a little bit of a rounding here, let me try that like this. Notice the risk still the same, well, more or less, $350, still 2% of my capital, or if I place a deeper stop, looks like I could go a little deeper still, but you get the idea. The risk is always constant. So what is changing? Well, the number of contracts I'm trading. Right? Did you notice here we've got one contract in play? Here we've got 2 contracts in play, and here we have 4 contracts in play. But the risk itself never changes, so you never end up risking more than you can afford to lose. Now the Raptor, as I mentioned before, is a blend, kind of a hybrid. It incorporates elements of the Hawk, the Falcon, and the Eagle. You probably already spotted the Eagle cloud that we have here. On the Raptor, we have 2 clouds. The Eagle Trend Trader is actually programmed into this filter down here. And the signal generation and the bar colors borrow from the Hawk and the Falcon as well. So right now we're waiting for one of our signals to print here on the Raptor. We may get a soft edge sell signal, but before we get the soft edge sell, I need to see the market retest the high and then come back with a sell signal. We may try to short it, see if the market's going to try to get into that opening gap below us. We have a few add-on tools as well. These system add-ons, and I'll just go over these quickly. These will work on any chart, not just a DTS chart. They will work on, a 5-minute chart or a 500 tick chart or a volume chart or whatever you happen to be running. This tool here is called the Geiger Counter. It is a tape reader, so you can see you get a visual of the order flow. We have this dial around here that shows us the immediate buying and selling pressure. What I look for with this particular tool is I like to watch the dial, especially when I have a signal printing. We're going to see if we get a sell signal here in a moment. If we get a sell signal, I'd like to see this dial pull hard here to the short side and hold. Hold for 3 or 4 or even 5 seconds. Oh, they're trying. That shows me that the sellers are actively trying to chew through those orders that are there. And if the dial pulls and holds to one side or the other, we should see a reaction. So here we've got a buy signal. It's not quite a hard, well, I suppose it's close enough to be a hard edge bounce. If we see the dial pull over and hold, they're trying, and hold and hold and hold, like I say, for about 2 or 3 or 4 seconds, that should translate into a reaction higher or lower. We're waffling a little bit here this morning. That's not a real surprise. Another big opening gap, so the market tending to be a little bit more bullish. See, look at the buying going through here. Sellers trying to lay it on. See how we got a little bit of a sell spike through here. All right, so that's the Geiger counter. We'll leave that alone real quick. Here on the Falcon, I forgot to point out the Ultimate Support and Resistance Suite. It's an assortment of 21 support and resistance lines. No, they are not pivot points. They are not Fibonacci retracements. If they happen to coincide with one, it's by coincidence, not by design. The 3 lines that you see here, this gold line and the 2 blue lines, this is the median line. The line above is the primary resistance. The line below is the primary support. These tend to be the 3, I don't want to say most important lines, but they kind of set the tone for the day. So now that the market is above the primary resistance, we may actually expect it to be a little bit more bullish, although it looks like it hasn't been above there that long. We'll see if they come out here, if this primary support is actually going to lend some more support to it as it did with this signal right here. We are printing another warning dot. Well, I'll show you how these tools work here in a moment. Why don't we take this Raptor signal? So we've got a Raptor signal that's going to print. Now the tool I'm using here on the Raptor, this is called the Trailblazer. It's slightly different than the Trade Manager in that it doesn't have that risk component built in. You preset your orders up here. You still have the 16 stop strategies. The beauty of the Trailblazer, oh, they're pulling hard here to the short side. I think we're going to get sell signal. The beauty of the Trailblazer is that it's a one-click entry system. We had owners who were trading some very fast markets, and they said, you know, the Trade Manager, I've got to click for my entry, I've got to click for my stop loss, I have to click to activate the order. Can you give me a one-click system? Because they were trading some really fast markets. The markets were trying to run away as they were setting up their orders. So that was the evolution of the Trailblazer. Now, I've just been watching the Geiger counter here, and it's been pulling to the short side quite a bit. Well, it's a demo room. I'll demo the signal regardless, whether it's one of our high probability signals or not. If we get a short signal here, that would be one of our high probability signals. Oh, we're going to get the buy signal. Okay, so we got the buy signal. We got the triangle hash mark You see, all I had to do was hit the buy market button and it engaged the order. I could have also right-click and pick an order. So we're contending now with the highs of the morning. Now that we have an active trade, let me select the stop strategy. Oh, let's put that a little bit further away. So once I click my Enable tab and accept, now I have an active stop. Now I'm actually going to pull this here back to the hard edge and disable it for a moment. Because the hard edge is where we would anticipate a reaction if this market was starting to unwind. And there's a chance that we may get what we call the double pullback signal, where the market comes into the hard edge twice and then comes out and produces a buy signal, a with trend signal. If we get a little bit of traction here, what I want to show you is how the Trailblazer and the Trade Manager are all designed to automatically roll your stops for you. So what that means is that once you have an active trade, you actually don't need to babysit it anymore. Once your stops are enabled, you can go look at another market. You can go take another trade. You can go walk the dog if you want. The Trade Manager and the Trailblazer will do everything for you. The beauty of this is a lot of people are struggling with how they should manage a trade, right? When do I roll my stops? What's the best way to take advantage of a trending market? All right, let's see if they take out the high now. If we can get somebody to trade the other side of 43.23.5, there we go. We got a little momentum now. I'll enable my stops again. Oh, don't give me an early reaction, you stinkers. There, we'll make my stop a little bit more conservative. Actually, maybe we'll look at the chandelier. That tends to be a little bit more conservative. Yeah, let's go with the chandelier strategy. Oops, wrong button. There we go. So you can see I can adjust my stops even during the trade. I can choose from the different strategies whatever may be fitting the market a little bit better today. And it looks like the chandelier fits it well enough. The chandelier stop strategy. I also have an auto break-even trigger in play. So if we tag that, you'll see the Trailblazer take the stop from here, automatically take it to break-even +1. And I can adjust this value as well. I can make it higher or lower. I can even make a negative break-even stop. So I can be break-even -2 ticks if I choose. All right, just about to hit the break-even. And these are adjustable, by the way. Not only once they're live, I was about to drag it, even our profit objective. Once the orders are live, you can move them wherever you want. But you can also preset them. Now I preset my profit objectives here. So we've got one contract that was preset at 20 ticks, and we have another contract which is open. Right now both stops at break even. There we go. We hit our first profit target. See the Geiger counter getting a little bit more active now that we've broken out past these highs. Sellers are scrambling, trying to get out of their positions. I bet you that's what a lot of this buying were the sell orders or the exit orders for the sellers. All right, so we've hit profit on one. The other stop at break even. We probably produced, yes we did, we produced a comparable signal here on the Falcon. Actually, the Falcon tripped a little bit earlier. We had a trend change signal right here. the trend line changed color. Again, it's the first signal where everything is in sync. We have green bars, green signal, green trend line, and a green filter. That's one of our high probability signals. And that one too, you see, had no trouble hitting its profit objective. We do have high probability targets for each of our tools. Of course, you can extend your profit objective. What a lot of people like to do with the support and resistance suite is they like to use the next line as a profit target. So you can see if you had done that, if you had taken the signal here and placed your profit objective at the next line, and you can do that as well. We'll just enable the targets manually. So here's our trade. And let's say we go in here at the hash mark and we're going to cover below the low, and we're going to take the trade there. So we end up risking a little bit less money, and we're just shy of our profit objective. Here too, you could run a break-even trigger. Ooh, we had a nice first micro-macro cross signal here on the Falcon, on the Hawk. First micro-macro cross, the micro line, that's a thin one, crosses the macro line. It's the first signal where everything is in sync. So this is a scalp signal. And you can see we hit our scalp target. Starting to get a little bit more volume on these bars. The sellers tried to push down here for a couple of bars. Oh, that's an add-on as well, by the way. These are the dynamic equivolume bars. If you haven't heard of equivolume charting before, equivolume charting gives you a visual representation of the volume. So the fat bars, or the wider bars, have more volume than the thinner bars. So these bars here have more volume than the thin bars. What most people don't realize is that when a market is trending, it's usually trending on pretty light volume. Yes, the breakout itself will have to have considerable volume, but when the market is actually moving, it's actually moving on pretty light volume. It isn't until you get some resistance going on that the volume tends to increase. Now these two will work on any chart style. What makes them different from your regular equivolume bar is that they will work with tick charts, they will work with regular candlesticks, they will work with Renko bars, mean Renko bars, which are the default for the indicator warehouse DTS system. Any chart style really, except for some of that exotic stuff like the Kagi bars or point and figure bars or stuff like that. Okay, we're getting a little bit of open profit here now. Yeah, I'm going to go with a more aggressive stop strategy. So you say, hey, we caught a nice little move here, but I don't want to leave all this open profit. We got, $150, $170 in play. Well, why don't we go to something more aggressive? Maybe the parabolics? Sure. You can preview all your stop strategies. You see those orange hash marks? That's the parabolic. All I need to do is click accept, and now I'll be running the parabolic strategy. What's nice about parabolics is that they tend to follow a trend pretty well, and then as the trend is weakening, the stops get in rather tight. We do have one stop strategy even more aggressive than the parabolics, and that's the bar high-low. If you really want to protect some of that profit, let's say you're going to go with the bar high-low, and we're going to go 2 bars back off of the low, and we're going to give it 3 ticks. And the bar high-low, as I mentioned, is really designed to take you out on the first sign of weakness. So when we get a lot of open profit, then I'll go with the bar high-low because I just don't want the market backing up on me any. Oh, we might get lucky here. Come on, get up there. Come on. Here, we'll give it a little nudge with the mouse, a little tickle. Sometimes that helps. Get up there. All right, we'll put this back on the shelf for now. Gold rather quiet this morning. Here's gold on the Eagle Trend Trader. You can see a little bit of a mess, no real trend going on. The Trade Forecaster, that's this tool here on the top left. This is another add-on, by the way. The add-on just means it will work on any chart style. Telling me that we're currently in scalp mode, but in about 8 minutes time we're going to be moving into trend mode on the gold market. And yeah, scalp mode, I could go with that. That's pretty messed up market. We're printing too many signals here on the Eagle. And might be working on a trend change signal. It's a little bit too early to tell. But again, this is why we have 3 different tools. Just because there's nothing going on the trend signal generation doesn't mean that we won't have a signal here on the Hawk Scalper. And actually, we had a couple signals. We had the red bar buy signal down here. We had the macro pullback signal right here. So gold already giving us a couple of trades. The red bar buy, and let's say we covered it there. So there was a quick little scalp. And then we came back with the macro pullback signal, which was right here. And oh, we're just shy of our profit target on that one. Looks like it might have got close enough to hit the break-even trigger, so we'd be sweating this trade at break-even right now, if we were running a break-even trigger, that is. So that's gold at the moment, a little bit sideways. Oh, and I heard the stop get tagged. So you can see we got automatically stopped out. So once again, the beauty of the tools here that you don't have to babysit your trade. You can go look for other opportunities or, whatever. Go grab a coffee, have breakfast. Or if you're like me, sometimes you have a tendency to tweak yourself out of a perfectly good trade. All right, so the market still seemingly fairly bullish, but I do suspect the sellers will step up here somewhere. We'll see if for a reversal signal, the Hawk and the Raptor tend to produce them first. So I've got my eye here on the Hawk. I'm watching the Raptor for a counter trend signal. And like I mentioned at the beginning, if you have any questions or if there's any markets you'd like me to highlight for you, please don't be shy. The markets have been a little bit funky of late. Well, now we're just kind of waiting. Things will slow down a little bit too as the week progresses, as we get closer toward the July 4th holiday weekend. Things will get a little wonky. That is a technical trading term, by the way. possible macro pullback here on the hawk. Crude oil also a little bit distraught. Pull over crude oil chart here on the hawk. See all these yellow bars printing here? This tells us we're in a choppy market. Just in case you didn't realize it already. Why is that important? Well, a lot of times people don't realize the market is trendless and they end up trying to trade it anyway. When the market is trendless, it's almost impossible to trade. The only real way to trade a trendless market is to buy near the low or the bottom end of the trading range, sell near the top end of the trading range, and just try to grab a couple of ticks here and there. Very, very difficult trading. So when we see the hawk with all these yellow bars, that tells us the market is sideways and we're going to avoid trading. Or at least wait till it gets outside of the trading range or something to that effect. Okay, we've got a macro pullback signal here that's struggling a little. Waiting for the Raptor. I was going to try to show you a signal on one of the other tools, but it looks like the Raptor may be coming back with a soft edge sell signal. As I mentioned, the Raptor and the Hawk probably, as far as counter trend signals go, will be the two fastest tools. That's not much of a trend line. Let's try drawing a trend line here. Oh, Eric, you should have maybe grabbed that macro pullback after all. So here was the macro pullback signal. The micro line goes out of sync, macro line does not. Bars do not, filter does not. So only the micro line goes out of sync. There's our entry. Problem is, where am I going to cover the trade? Well, I should probably cover it back here to the macro line somewhere. Whew. Nice little rally. Retest of the high. Let's see if we get the failure now and the markets start to head lower. That could produce a short signal. Oh, and they're pushing through. All right, here we'll take the signal. Oh, don't run away. We've got a signal here on the eagle. We can get a second push on this signal. Now, the second push simply means that we allow the signal to engage, and then we allow the bar to retreat. See how it's pulling back? Now we know the current limit of the buyers and the sellers. This, on the eagle especially, this tends to happen. So it's not a bad strategy for the eagle. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to enter the market on some renewed momentum. Right now it's actually tailing off a little bit. I'm wondering whether we knocked the buyers out of the market. Here on the hawk, we're getting another macro pullback signal. Now, what's significant about that is we normally only see 2 or 3 macro pullback signals within a trend. So when we get macro pullback, that may actually be telling us that the market is starting to lose some of its earlier momentum. I've still got my eye here on the Raptor for that sell signal, which will be our soft edge sell. That is our counter trend signal. So we're retesting the highs, and if they come back with a short signal here, that's suggestive that the sellers are going to push the market lower. And we'll get my stop strategy ready. So again, with the Trailblazer, the big difference is that it's a one-click system. Oh, see the Geiger counter here? They're pushing pretty hard. Oh, there comes some buying. This whole 43, 25, 26 area seems to be a little sensitive. Mo is asking, Eric, would you short crude oil under 48.11? What tool are you looking at, Mo? And which month are you following? Okay, you're on the hawk. And are you trading August crude? Or September? I better check my expiration dates. Am I in the wrong month? Crude oil. No, August. Yeah, okay. August crude on the hawk. Oh, I see. Right. Okay, so Mo is looking at this trading range that we have. And he's saying, well, Eric, how about a breakout? You know, I pointed out we would buy the bottom end of the range. We would sell the top end of the range. What if crude gets down here to 48.10, 48.11? Would you short on a breakout below there? You can. It's a gamble because you're betting that the market has more momentum to break out and sustain the breakout. The better course of action is to allow the market to break out, retest, and prove that it can stay outside the trading range. Same thing here to the upside. Let it retest and prove that it can stay out. You will get another signal, you know, on this reaction. Now, having said that, sometimes the breakouts can be substantial, as we all know. Even though it is a lower probability type trade to try to trade the breakout, the market will often fudge it enough that you can at least get a scalp target. You can at least pick up $100 or something. If you're trading multiples, if you're able to trade, say, like 2 contracts in crude, you could scalp out on one, roll the other one to break even, and keep your fingers crossed that the market doesn't reach back too far. Yeah, like Andrew says, you may want to wait for the inventory. Yes, crude inventory out in about 25 minutes time, and the market does seem rather indecisive at the moment, so that's good. We like to see that going into crude inventory because then we can use our OCO trades and just bracket the market. Oh, nuts. Missed the soft edge sell signal. That was right here. That was the signal I was waiting for. Target is the hard edge. So we would anticipate the market to retreat here to the hard edge. That's on the Raptor. Come on down. All right, well, we'll wait for our second chance to get into there. This has got the potential to be a pretty good little retracement. The hawk now already drifting into red bars, so we may get a first micro macro cross lower. I may as well cancel my eagle trade. And here on the Falcon, also working a trend change signal. So the trend line has changed color. The market has come down. We're watching the bulls try to fight the market back. And if in fact the market will head lower, we will produce a sell signal. That's going to be a high probability sell signal. Now, you do need to take the context into account. The market has made a rather substantial uptrend. It's been a little whippy on the way up. I wonder if we're going to see them try to get into that opening range gap, which would be somewhere down here from the overnight. So that's kind of what we're working on. All right, now we're getting a first micro-macro cross lower. Micro line cross the macro line. This is the first signal where everything is in sync. Oh, darn. The bars just went yellow. The yellow bars are a no-no on the hawk. The only exception is the 4-arrow consolidation like you see down here. 1, 2, 3, fourth signal, I will take off a yellow bar. Okay, we're getting a green bar sell, so we can try to short that. And because this is counter trend, I would normally dial down my risk amount. Actually, they might give me a chance to do that. Dial down the risk amount a little bit. There we go. Don't want to get too crazy here. And because it's a single, I'll probably delete the profit order and just see whether I can run this out a little ways. Oh, maybe they won't give it to me. See, the warning dot keeps disappearing as they try to tick higher. No, there they go. I'll just make sure that warning dot is done. Yes, it is. All right, so I'll cancel that order. The sellers may not be able to push this market into a full reversal today. The best they may be able to do is just push the market sideways, which is what we saw a lot of yesterday. Let's see, how did we do here this morning? That might be all that we're going to get. Again, the hawk starting to introduce a lot of yellow bars. Yeah, just not a whole lot going on. Well, they did push through the morning high. That's something. Crude oil on a little bit of a rally, so that may be pulling the stock market a little higher, and the NASDAQ may just kind of be running on the coattails of that. It's just kind of a puzzling session because, well, for the last 15 minutes anyways, we've been in more or less a sideways drift. A little bit of a expanding triangle going on. About about to print another first micro-macro cross. We just have the warning dots. No signal just yet. What do we have going on here? Gosh, the filter here on the Falcon is starting to look a little bit like a roller coaster. See if we get another soft edge sell signal here out of the Raptor. Again, we just keep retesting the highs. We might see it press lower one more time. Don't get me wrong, I'm not overly bearish on the market, in spite of what happened last week when the market bottomed out. Okay, well, not getting the signal I was anticipating, so we'll throw that back on the shelf. This is actually very similar to what we saw on the NASDAQ prior to the big decline last week. And what I mean is this type of growing triangle or expanding triangle, or however you want to refer to it. These tend to develop near the end of a trend. It's almost like the buyers and sellers, running on fumes, if you will. Like, look at these reversals here. See how thin these bars are compared to some of the earlier reversals? There's not very much volume going on here. We've got 771 contracts traded on that bar. This one's a little better, 1,200 on that one. 1,200 on that one. Only 900 on that one. So the volume really on the decline. Kind of running on fumes. Now we're getting a nice little retest here with the Raptor. Got this little itty bitty retest. If this fails and heads lower and produces a short signal, that will be a really nice soft edge sell signal. Trading friend of mine always used to say, the big money's on the surprise side. So if everybody's looking to short, don't be surprised if the market bolts higher. All right, let's see if the Raptor's going to give me that soft edge sell. This little envelope that you see printing around the bar, that's part of the Geiger Counter as well. So you don't always have to look at the Geiger Counter. This gives you the immediate short-term bias. So right now it's printing red, so the immediate short-term bias is down. All right, not quite ready yet. Let's see what else is going on. Here's this hawk first micro-macro cross signal again. Very high probability signal. This one I would probably have to cover way down here. We're fighting it a little bit. It should get up there though. Like I say, it's a very high probability signal. And by very high probability, I mean like better than 80% of the time that trade will work out. And it looks like this time is no exception. So even covering the trade down here, oh, sorry, not there yet. Still 10 minutes to crude inventory. I don't want to commit to it just yet. It does look as though we got a little bit of a breakout out of that trading range. So here we are. This is on the Falcon now. There's the trading range. There's the little itty-bitty breakout. Just enough to trip some buy orders as the market tries to back up on itself now. We'll come back to this in just a moment. We're going to set up a bracket trade. No other real signals to speak of. Gold dead sideways also. We're not expecting any kind of announcements today, are we? Yeah, crude inventory. No, nothing really big. What about tomorrow? No. Nothing huge. It's just the way the markets are right now. This is almost a carbon copy of yesterday's session, where the market did some early rally and then just kind of went sideways and then went lower. Look at the volume on these last bars. The volume picking up considerably. What's the volume on that one? 4,400. So it looks as though the buyers controlled the bar into the close, but half of that volume will be selling volume as well. So buyers and sellers both getting a little bit more active. Wow, we're going to work into a 4-arrow consolidation here on the Hawk. All right, well, while we're waiting for that, why don't we set up our channel trade here on crude oil. Just one last look at the NASDAQ. I don't want it to run away on me again. A lot of times going into crude inventory, what we like to do is if the market is within a sideways trading range, we can use our OCO function to bracket that range. And we can place a sell order below the range and a buy order above the range. Now, when you're using your OCO function, these orders are live the moment you put them on your chart. So I tend to put them away and then I want to drag them in. The problem is I would like to see the market trading in the middle of this range going into the inventory report. Where it's sitting right now is not all that inviting because we're kind of lopsided here to the buy side. I may use this secondary resistance line as a possible entry point and place my stops or my sell stops below the low. I'll also need to go with a stop strategy. Let's see what the chandelier is like. There, we'll make it a little bit more conservative. Just because crude oil can get very wild. Well, let's put a Geiger counter on here as well. Indicators, there we go. So I'll pull down here to my IW indicators, Geiger counter. Let's add a Geiger counter to the chart. So we can watch the order flow. And if the market gets back here toward the middle somewhere, I will definitely bring in my entry stop, my buy stop. Nothing going on with the NQ. All right, there's only a few minutes until crude inventory, so we'll stay with the crude. Crude very quiet this morning. Crude opened 6 a.m. my time, that's Pacific, and not a whole lot, at least not according to the Falcon swing trader. The other way, by the way, before I forget, the other way to trade the crude inventory reports is to actually let the report hit the floor, and about 30 seconds to a minute later, you should see what the current ranges of the market are, and then you can place your buy and sell orders. I will just stick with crude here for a moment. And we should see the order flow get a little bit more excitable here as well. Right now we're just trading a couple dozen orders. We should see that pop into the hundreds as traders commit. And this is always a bit of a hand wringer. Get sweaty palms trading crude inventory reports because you don't really know which way the market wants to bolt. And very often it is insane when it does. All right, should be any moment now. Looks like the buying getting a little bit stronger there. Did you see how the dial pulled over? The needle is turned green, so that's suggesting the market a little bit more bullish. We've also got the green envelope around the last bar, that trend indicator. We'll see if that holds. All right, here we go. See how the buyers loaded up there? Now, did the sellers, the big question is, did the sellers absorb all that buying pressure? And my entries are actually a little bit far away, but hey, this is crude. This is a crazy market. And I do have my stop enabled. Good. All right, now did you see that? What was that? That is crude oil. That is just a crazy, crazy market. So fortunately, the trade manager with our auto stops and everything brought us in, managed the trade. We got stopped out here as the market made a quick move lower and then tried to reverse higher. That's the thing with crude too, is sometimes you're going to get those fake breakouts. But wasn't that something? All this within the span of 1 or 2 seconds. Just look at all those sellers, all those sell stops that got tripped. Boom! Down she goes. And now they're trying to rally it up. So we actually ended up with a trend change signal right here that you could have bought higher. It does appear as though crude trying to rally now out of that inventory report. So a couple of chances to get in there, and also producing a trend signal now on your Eagle with crude oil. The problem I have with crude oil on the Eagle is it's so darn expensive. See, the trade manager won't let me take the trade. For my account, it says, no, sorry, Eric, you want to set up the trade like that at 2%? You can't afford it. Well, I can dial up the risk amount. Anything less than 5% is considered prudent. So let's say I go up to 4% of my capital. I could cover that. If I took that hit, that would be 4% of my trading capital. Not enough to wipe me out, which is the whole point of the exercise. Trade forecaster says crude oil should be in trend mode for the better part of 40 minutes. After that, it's going to move into more of a swing mode type environment. Tony says you made a whopping $75 on that crude oil whipsaw. Count yourself lucky that you walked out of there with a profit. That was just a bizarre move. Okay, so we'll put crude oil back on the shelf. But I'm glad I got to show you how the OCO order works and why it's important to have a trailing stop in play at all times. All right, so we got our 4-arrow consolidation. Our first micro macro cross finally hit its profit target after a little bit of humming and hawing. There we go. Just a strange little sideways range today. And when the market is losing momentum, well, actually maybe the hawk isn't the best one to show it. See how we're losing momentum? What by that I mean we had a nice trend there. We had a nice trend here. Now what's happening to our trend? Well, we got this here, we got this here, we got this here. We just keep, see how we're starting to go sideways? When that happens, very often we will see the market try the other direction, which is why I've been scanning that Raptor chart so much for that soft edge sell signal. But like I said, I won't be the only one looking to short. So maybe the big money is on the surprise side and we will see a bigger rally. Well, I wish it was a more eventful morning so I could show you guys more trades, how these tools work, but we can only take what the market's giving. Yeah, absolutely, Tony. Tony's asking here, Eric, when you have time, a nuts and bolts question. On one of my charts, the buy, sell, and break even are very faint on the screen. The trail is bright, but I don't see where to adjust this, and it's only on one chart. Okay, what you need to do is you need to go to your strategies window, and you need to highlight your trade manager, and you need to disable it so that you can make adjustments. So we're going to turn it off, and we'll apply that. And now you can go up here to your cosmetics. These are your orders right here, and you can make them darker or lighter. 255, I think, is as dark as you can go. So your break even is set at 100. Your others are also set at 100. You can change the colors of your orders as well. Maybe it's just the color that's making it look so faint. But at any rate, you can increase the opacity of all these. And that should help. Let's see, is there anything else to adjust there? No. So once you've done that, it's probably a good idea to save your template. So give it a name, whatever you want. I call mine Hawk, so I know it's for the Hawk. And so you just type in the label there, press enter, and that will automatically save it. You go back to your Enable tab, turn your Trade Manager back on, and that should solve the issue for you. All right, we're working a possible red bar buy here that we may be able to short if we get the signal. Oh, we got the sell signal here on the, got the soft edge sell signal here on the Raptor that I've been waiting for. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my stop just above the high. And let's see if we get that red bar buy signal. No, not yet. We may get a trend change signal here in the Falcon. Let's go to the action in the Raptor while we're waiting for the other tool to print the signal. Now I could delete the break even. Why? Well, because there's very likely to be a little bit of a reaction here as the market is trying to challenge the support. So even if I just put a basic trend line across the bottom. Oops. We've broken down. And, oh, I've hit the break-even trigger, so I better enable that. There we go. Come on, get down there. So close to my high probability target. Come on. Oh, no. Don't you dare flinch there. Don't you dare. What I was going to say is now that it's broken the trend line, it is possible the market's going to try to do one of these. It's going to try to get up here, bounce on the underside of the trend line, and then head lower. So that's why I was going to hold my break-even stop away a little bit. But, oh well. See if we've got that red bar. No, not yet. The red bar buy disappeared. We may get a first micro macro cross here to sell. course, there's nothing preventing me from just hitting the close button. Come on, you stinkers. Come on. Is Joe in the room? Joe, get in there and sell 1,000. That'll pull the market down. What I'm hoping is that, well, obviously I'm hoping it's going to go lower, but I'd like to show you how the trade manager rolls the stops automatically for you. I haven't really been able to show you that yet because the market hasn't been going very far. So you can tell from the width of the bar, a fair amount of volume going through that bar, 3,600 orders. Let's see if the sellers can knock him down. Might catch a little bit of a lucky break here. Oh, somebody just lit a fire under the gold market. Here's gold on the eagle, or pardon me, the hawk. So we had a first micro-macro cross here. Great rally, a macro pullback signal right here. Another great rally. Coming in now with a red bar buy signal. Oops, sorry, that just drifted into yellow bars. So gold being very active. And we may just have caught a lucky break here. We got a little bit of a swing going on. Oh, missed the first micro-macro cross lower. That's this signal right here. Now, because there's very little structure up here, you pretty much have to risk the trade up there. And as I mentioned, a lot of times if I'm just running a single contract, I will try to run it out, so I may delete that profit objective. Where is the next support line that we're gunning for? 43.11 quarter. That's the primary resistance. That's going to be our profit objective. And where's the hard edge? The hard edge is 43.22, so we can expect a little bit of a reaction there. Oh, 43.11. That's also the low of the morning. So the primary resistance line predicting the low of the morning, that's pretty good. Come on down. You know you want to. Oh, actually, I think I did get to show you on the last Raptor trade with the parabolics how the market was rolling stops. And let's see, where are the parabolics at here? Yeah, maybe we'll go with parabolics just so you can see how the Trailblazer and or Trade Manager will roll the stops. So right now my stop is at break even. The stop strategy is back here. It will pick it up as the market progresses lower. It will pick it up and move it along. Ryman, I'm not exactly sure of what your question is. Ryman wrote, Eric on the trade manager on the Raptor. When there is a trade and you gone. Yeah, sorry, not quite sure what you're after there. You may have to clarify a little bit. So again, the only difference between the tool that I'm using on the Raptor, and these are interchangeable, by the way. I just happen to have the Trailblazer on the Raptor. I could put the Trailblazer on any of these tools, and likewise, I can put the Trade Manager on the Raptor. This just happens to be the way I have it set up so that I can demonstrate this for you. And the big difference, the Trailblazer, a one-click entry system, just one click of the button, you have your profit targets, you have your stop loss, you have your break even if you have one set. And the Trade Manager with this built-in risk manager component. So you can automatically, regardless of where you place your stop, your risk is always contained to a certain percentage of your capital. Muy importante, as the Spanish like to say. All right, come on. Actually, if I continue this expanding triangle type idea, I just kind of eyeballed 4311. Ooh, that's got to do quite a bit of bouncing on the way down. We may leave that up there. I may have to take profit a little bit earlier. Now, are they going to allow us to ride out this swing? Maybe not. Come on. Nope. Well, we got profit on one. They're probably going to tag me on break even now on the other one. And then we're either going to keep going sideways in this trading range, or the sellers are going to make another serious push lower. Yeah, there we go. We got tagged on break even. Well, that's not bad. We picked up, I think, profit on one. Yes, we did. And then we got tapped break even on the other one. So only a couple of really good signals this morning, but not bad for a sideways kind of day. Crude oil still on a tear. Gold recovering much of what was that rally just a few moments ago. So there was that run up on gold, and now they're back here into the hard edge. Printing red bars. We may get another red bar buy signal. That's one of these guys down here. Although gold, according to Trade Forecaster, only in trend mode for about another 10 minutes or so. After that, it's going to go into swing mode. So the bear is pressing a little bit harder, maybe pushing this market into a sideways range today. All right, you guys, it's almost time to button up the trading room. If anybody has any questions, please type away. Not sure we're going to get any solid signals here before we close up the room. Good question. Ryman says, I've never tried to use the buy or sell market buttons on the trade manager. Does it set your profit objectives? I don't remember. So let's try it. So we're going to sell the market. Now let me point out, when you use these buttons up here, you're going to default to that quantity. You can have a stop strategy in play. So right now my stops are down here. Yeah, they're down here. So I'm going to hit a buy order just so that we'll see whether the stops activate. So my stops are enabled. I'm going to hit a buy market. So I get the break even, but I don't get the profit targets. So the profit targets are not automated with the buy or sell market function. I suppose that's why on the Trailblazer they had it so that you had to preset your profit objective. Yeah, good question, Ryman. I forgot that actually. Yes, you can always use your buy or sell market buttons if the market's kind of running away on you. Not entirely sure why they chose to put the buy and sell, the bid and ask buttons there, but there they are nonetheless. I suppose as you become more sophisticated in your trading, you can try to grab an extra tick with those buttons. They're essentially limit orders. Buying the ask is pretty much the same as buying the market. And selling the bid is pretty much the same as selling the market. All right, no more questions. All right. Well, thank you very much for your attendance today, folks. I'm sorry that we couldn't show you more trades, but I hope you got a feel for how these tools work and what's involved with them. Of course, if you have any questions about any of the tools or the add-ons, feel free to email me, or better yet, you can email Adam directly at indicatorwarehouse.com. And I'll give you my email as well. You can email me at Eric, that's E-R-I-C-H, at supportandresistance.com. Okay, DTS owners, I'll see you in the trading room tomorrow morning. And just a reminder, we will have another open house next Wednesday. So I hope you'll join us then. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.